Hey everyone, Martin. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Whoops, wrong channel. Anyways, yeah. When Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was announced, the world wanted to get their hands on that sweet King K. Rool and Ridley. With it being released, along with DLC characters coming along down the line, I felt I should talk about the fighters we got now. Yep, I'm here to talk about my list of top 10 Super Smash Bros. Fighters. I was inspired to make this list by Wambu, so check out his video in the description. Also, just to make two things clear. First, if any echoes or characters with echoes appear, I will be combining echoes with their real fighters together as one entry and go over both. Second is that this is based on my personal time playing these fighters, so tier lists would not be taken into question. However, I'm going to go into how each fighter is mechanically. And if you have a fighter that you think should be on here that isn't, well, that's fine. This is my list, you feel free to make your own in the comments below. Other than that, I just look at all the fighters, pick my 10 favorites, hopefully main Joker when he comes out, and keep saying Waluigi's forever an assist trophy. Now, let's get started. Smash.
Who put that last part in the script? Huh? At the entry. Crap, okay.
So, as you may or may not know, I'm a big Splatoon fan. So when I saw that very first trailer for Smash Ultimate, I knew that I was going to try and main Inkling. And I can say I can play them decently. They use a bunch of different weapons, like the classic Splatter Shot, the Slosher, the Ink Brush, and the Splat Bomb, each of them following the new mechanic that Inkling has, the Ink Tank. Whenever they use any of their weapons, it splashes ink on the opponent, which makes them take more damage the more ink they have on their body. But obviously, this drains the tank on your back, making you press shield and special if you want to refill. One of the main attacks, the Ink Roller, is reliant on this because it is super slow if there's no ink. That's one of the things I like that I took over from Splatoon. You have to manage how much ink you have and use if you don't want to die. And a minor thing, I like all the different outfits that the Inkling has for alternate skins. You have the basic boy and girl outfits, the hero outfits, specs from the manga, and other outfits from official artwork for Splatoon. Welcome to the roster, Inkling. Booyah!
Smash. For Nor! For Hashido! I make my own fate!
Sounds like someone finally finished all 3 paths.
Here we have one of the 2 Fire Emblem Avatar characters in Smash Bros., Corrin. Now I haven't had that much experience in the Fire Emblem series, but I can definitely say I have some fun playing as Corrin. The main thing that they got is the usage of the Dragon Fang, transforming only part of their bodies for their special attacks like the Dragon Fang shot for a projectile and a biting attack for up close, or the Draconic Ascent for recovery, with the only moves that have them fully transform into a dragon being the Counter Surge and their final smash, Torrential Roar. And of course, you got the normal melee attacks with the Omega Yado for doing the good old swish swish stab, including some attacks that have it hit multiple times. There's also spinning, because that's a good trick. At the end of it, Corrin is just a really fun character to play, especially when I use this move.
He's really mastered it, hasn't he? What did you expect?
Yeah, I love this move.
That went well. Smash.
Yep, the blue super fighting robot bomber himself, Mega Man. This one got a bunch of reactions when it was first announced, and it became a really good spacing character. To properly explain this moveset, I must play this clip from the game.
I hope he busts out his Mega Buster.
I want to see his charge shot.
Flame Blast. Leaf Shield.
Rush coil.
Metal Blade. Spark Shot.
Air shooter.
Crash Bomber. Slash Claw.
Flame sword.
Hard Nickel.
Yeah, that's how much stuff he's got for a moveset. We even have some pretty obscure stuff like the Mega Uppercut from Marvel vs. Capcom, and little details like his eyes going static when he's hit. Mega Man is just a really good projectile-based fighter with his fair share of melee moves. He just rocks.
Mega Man wins!
Now, so far we've had 1 Fire Emblem character and 2 non-Fire Emblem characters. Seems unbalanced, don't you think? Well, I think it's time
to tip the scales.
here's the other Fire Emblem Avatar character in Smash Bros., Robin. With both their 11 sword and tomes, they got some really good diversity for a moveset. For normal attacks, they have their 11 sword and a normal sword. The 11 sword has an electrical element to stun enemies and the normal sword for when that runs out. But there's still the tomes that they use. Their special attack, Thunder, L Thunder, Arc Thunder, and Thoron. Side special, Arc Fire, basically discount PK Fire. Up special, L Wind. And their down special, Nosferatu. Each of them having a limited use, so you can't just spam these attacks off the edge of the map like Pikachu using Thunder Shock. But overall, Robin is just a really cool character to play as. They were even featured in my animatic, so I think that's saying something.
I'm always 3 steps ahead.
Keep your eyes open!
If you couldn't tell at this point, I like sword fighters, of which many of them are from Fire Emblem. Case in point, these two. Compared to other sword fighters with magic tomes, elemental additions, or extra equipment, Marth and Lucina only have their sword for both normal and special attacks. While the moveset is pretty much identical between both characters, the one major difference is the damage output, or in this case, the tipper mechanic. Y'all heard this before, so I'll be brief. The tip of Marth's blade does more damage, so you have to be the right distance away from your opponent to get the max damage dealt. Lucina doesn't have that tipper mechanic, so she does equal damage throughout the blade in exchange for slightly less damage. And to quote Wambu, but I don't really think that makes her a worse pick so much as it does a safer one. While I do tend to play Lucina more than Marth because of this, I tend to play Marth when I'm feeling confident against who I'm fighting. Only real negatives with these two are the meh recovery and lack of projectile attacks, so characters like Mega Man or the Belmonts could take advantage of that. But still, fun characters to play as.
You're too slow!
Now we have the blue blur, Sonic. Most obvious thing about him is the speed. Runs the fastest, and has pretty good movement everywhere else. He's also one of 4 characters that have the detail of taking damage in water, since he can't swim. And almost all of his standard attacks come from or resemble attacks from Sonic the Fighters, with others being basic attacking moves. The specials are really good too. Homing attack to attack directly and stop people who edge guard, spin dash and spin charge for mobility and damage, and the spring jump for recovery and landing the spring on opponents. Then there's his final smash, Super Sonic, which got a big change to it from Smash 4 to Ultimate. Instead of flying around freely trying to hit opponents, he zooms across the screen automatically, with the player controlling his up and down movements. But the one thing he kinda lacks is some good KOing moves, so he's just a character to rack up the damage and then hit with one good move. But still, he's a fun character to play as, and if you're one of those people who just really abuses its speed, then
That's no good.
Win!
Piece of cake!
I suppose I'll get my chance another day.
僕を忘れないでほしいな。
The final set of Fire Emblem characters on this list, we got Roy and his new echo, Chrom. With Roy being a semi-clone of Marth, obviously his moveset is going to be similar to his. Same side special, chargeable sword attack for the standard special, and the obvious counter. Almost everything else about Roy is pretty unique to him. There's his up special, a generic upward sword strike, but nearly all of his attacks have the added fire effect to them. His counter, his standard and up specials, and a bunch of his other attacks with this effect. Which I love because fire is my favorite element in pretty much everything. He even has a similar tipper mechanic to Marth, only his being near the hilt of the blade, meaning you gotta get really up close and personal. Dangerous? Yes. But with the stronger damage output plus the added fire effects, worth it. Roy's our boy for a reason. Now, let's move on to Chrom. And here, Chrom is to Roy like Lucina is to Marth. Chrom doesn't have the tipper mechanic in exchange for slightly less damage dealt. He also has a different up special being similar to Ike's Ether and just as suicidal. He also lacks any elemental attributes aside from his standard special, which has a bit of a windbox attribute to it, and his smash attacks which use L-Wind for a slash effect. He's a fairly easy character to pick up and play, and both can be great as your main. Your chance came today, Chrom. Welcome to the roster.
Roy! Fights none of that!
Foggy!
The one Pokemon to make it onto the list. Greninja certainly have a rough time in Smash 4 with all his nerfs, but I think they got it right this time around for Ultimate. Obviously, being a ninja, it's in the dang name for Christ's sake, he's pretty agile in both movement, speed, and through the air. And his attacks are pretty cool too. Water Shuriken for a projectile, Shadow Sneak to play with your opponent, Hydro Pump for recovery and pushing away for other fighters, and Substitute for a counter all make for a great moveset. He even has his swords replaced with kunais to be more like the Ash Greninja from the anime. Considering his final smash has it transform into Ash Greninja to do a secret ninja attack, yes, that's the name of it. But he's kinda light, so he can get KO'd easily. Other than that, plus a little bit of finesse needed for playing him, which I don't think I have, he's just a cut above the rest.
Greninja wins! Smash!
Surprised to see Bowser of all characters this high? Good, because he's not on the list.
Backslash! I'm really feeling it! Now it's short time! This is the Monado's power!
Little known thing about me, I really like Xenoblade Chronicles. So when Shulk was revealed for Smash 4, it was an instant joy. Especially when the song you're listening to right now was used in the trailer. Anyways, Shulk, my number 2 character on this list. And for good reason. Combined with his initial hit and the laser part of Monado, the reach Shulk has is really good. As for his specials, well, they certainly live up to the name. There's his up special, Air Slash, which is pretty self-explanatory. His side special, Backslash, which does more damage when attacking from behind, also pretty self-explanatory. His down special, Vision, which is just a counter. Then there's his standard special, the Monado Arts. With 5 different arts to boost a certain attribute, he's pretty versatile. Gonna go over each pro and con of each art real quick. Green, jump, increases jump height but also increases fall speed and damage taken. Blue, speed, increases run speed but decreases traction, jump height, and damage dealt. Yellow, shield, increases defense from knockback, shield, and damage taken but decreases jump height, run speed, and damage dealt. Purple, buster, increases damage dealt but decreases defense and knockback. Red, smash, increases knockback but decreases damage dealt and defense against knockback. Whew, okay, now that that's over with, I can say that Shulk, overall, is just a cool and unique character in the Smash roster. But we got one more on the list that has him beat.
This is a good result!
Now, before we get to number 1, some quick honorable mentions. Fun character to play, but never became a real main of mine. Now helping is that the recovery just sucks. Never really played them enough to make the list, but still cool. Especially if you put in the original commands for the special moves for a more powerful version of it. I like to play as him, and the limit break mechanic is neat, but he's not really a favorite of mine. Hilarious to play as, especially when you beat someone with it. Looking at you, Gabe. Combining all 3 links in this because they do all play similarly. Not a main, but 1, or 3 in this case, to play as every so often. Cool character and an untouchable god in Brawl, but I don't really play him as much as an Ultimate anymore compared to Smash 4. Great for customization, but I felt like it'd be a bit unfair to put them on the list, especially Sharkeisha as a gunner. Sharkeisha gunner is OP. Yeah, he's an obvious one to be a main. Kirby's one of my favorite characters, even doing the whole World of Light as only him, but he was just barely cut from the list. Kirby's my official number 11. The first DLC character for Smash Bros. Ultimate is a pretty fun character, but being so new that this list was originally written in December 2018, he didn't make the list proper.
Smash!
Filth of the land, hear our words and see our actions. I am Pit, servant of the goddess of light, and I am Darkpit, servant to no other but myself. Together we will rain death upon you. So anyone who wants to die, step right up. And anyone who doesn't want to die, too bad. Oh yeah.
Nice speech, guys. Did you stay up all night writing it?
Yeah, these 2 are my number 1. Okay, little story. I never really played Pit back in Brawl, but he got a lot better in Smash 4 and Ultimate, along with being an Echo Fighter in Dark Pit. Combined with the release of Kid Icarus Uprising, the moveset got updated from Brawl for Pit. His F special, Power of Flight, got so much better compared to Brawl's Wings of Icarus, with the Power of Flight being directional input based compared to the Wings of Icarus where you just use it and then try to control it as you go up. His down special, Guardian Orbitars, now provide protection from attacks and projectiles on both sides compared to the Mirror Shield on one side. Its side special, Upper Dash Arm, replaced the Angel Ring, which is a really good thing. Upper Dash Arm reflects projectiles, has really good KOing capabilities, and covers a large distance for recovery, whereas the Angel Ring only covers a short distance for a multi-hit attack that can also reflect projectiles. His final smash, Lightning Chariot, is similar to the Dragoon item in the game, where you aim a target to KO opponents, which actually changed from Smash 4 from the 3 Sacred Treasures, which actually changed from Brawl from Palutena's army. Palutena's bow attack? Pretty much the same, but can't change everything, right? All of this sounds like I really like to play Pit, right? Well, I do, but I actually like playing Dark Pit more than Pit. Compared to Pit, Dark Pit's moves have slight changes that make it easy to differentiate him from Pit, even though he's an Echo Fighter. His standard special, Silver Bow, does slightly more damage at the cost of left directional move and after releasing it. His side special, Electroshock Arm, obviously has a stun effect on it, and also launches opponents vertically compared to the Upper Dash Arm, which does it horizontally. His down special and up special are pretty identical to Pit's, with the only small difference is Dark Pit's Power of Flight is colored green to reference Viridi granting it to him rather than Palutena. The last major change is his final smash, Dark Pit Staff, where he shoots from his staff across the screen, KOing any opponents caught in it. Compared to characters that are higher on the tier list, like Snake or Sheik, these two are trash. Like, bottom tiers. But like I said at the beginning of this, I'm not looking at the tiers. This is why. I don't play competitives, so playing characters because they're described as top tier is just forcing myself to play a character I'm not comfortable with. I like to have fun when playing games. Call this vouching for trash, but I call it rooting for the underdog. Anyways, that's my list. Hope you liked the video. Got a different opinion? Leave your own list in the comments below. And until next time, see ya!